There is no place for traitors. The Archbishop of Canterbury refuses King Charles's request to invite Harry and Meghan to the coronation. Hello and a very warm welcome back to Kate Middleton and the Queen News YouTube channel. According to reports, King Charles asked the Archbishop of Canterbury to come up with some kind of deal to enable Harry and Meghan to go to his coronation at Westminster Abbey in May. Now, the king is a loving father, we already know that, and I understand that he wants his younger son to be there on such an important occasion. He's hoping to give the whole world the impression that the royal family has made peace. But sadly, the reality could not be further from that. The truth is, Harry has launched grenade after grenade at members of his own family, especially the Queen Consort Camilla and also his older brother William, who supposedly had some misgivings about a deal to lure Meghan and Harry to the coronation. And of course, the trouble with this little plan is, without real assurance that Prince Harry's attacks on his family are going to come to an end, it's unthinkable that he should be invited to the king's coronation. There's no proof whatsoever that Harry has even an ounce of remorse. More books, and I'm sure more TV interviews and self-serving documentaries are to come, and neither Harry nor Meghan shows any sign of wanting to desist. While he was making the rounds on TV trying to promote his memoir, Harry described his stepmother as a villain and dangerous. And as for his older brother William, well, Harry portrayed him in Spare and Other Outpourings as this hot-tempered thug who physically assaulted him, was very rude to Meghan Markle, and is basically repressed and too conventional. Like any loving father, of course, the king does not want to be at odds with any of his children, however obnoxious Harry may be. The king is not a big fan of confrontation, that has been noted already. And in many ways, it does suggest that the king is a good person, the fact that he wants Harry with him there at Westminster Abbey in spite of everything he's done. I think the king tries to be a forgiving father. But it is unbelievable to think that Meghan and Harry are going to be invited without any kind of assurance that their broadsides are going to stop forever. And it seems very unlikely that such an undertaking is ever going to be offered by Meghan and Harry. They're just too vengeful. And according to a source, the Archbishop is not excited about this idea at all. A source close to the matter said the king should obviously consider the feelings of his wife and elder son, as well as those of his angry younger son. Harry's remarks about Camilla were particularly hurtful and unchivalrous. But for the king, this is not only a question of weighing the wounded feelings of Camilla and William against his natural instinct to have his younger son there at his coronation. Charles is not only a loving father, he is also the king, and he's well aware that sometimes he's got to look past the personal feelings of members of the family, and he has to focus on the interest of the monarchy. There has been so much collateral damage to the institution itself, which, with an astounding level of arrogance and presumptuousness, Harry claims that he's got a responsibility to reform. Harry has made the whole royal family look dysfunctional because, in his ridiculous view, it's somehow controlled by the media, he says, and collaborated in unspecified ways in a campaign to drive Meghan away. Now, of course, these are absurd allegations, which instantly fall apart when they're examined. But the effect of these allegations, and I'm sure the intention of these allegations, is certainly to undermine the monarchy in the minds of people who maybe aren't great at critical thinking. To put it another way, Harry and Meghan are not only cruel and untrustworthy critics of individual members of Harry's family, but also they have turned themselves into enemies of the institution of the monarchy itself, from which, in their continuous use of their royal titles and their connections, they still want to benefit. So without a real assurance that the two of them are going to stop the attacks, it's unthinkable that they should be invited to attend the religious ceremony at which the sacred nature of monarchy is reaffirmed before the country and the world. If Meghan and Harry came without giving this kind of pledge, they may use their visit to mount further attacks against members of the family. And it's probable, even if a solemn undertaking were made, that they would try to promote themselves with their fans and distract attention away from the coronation. I mean, just think about it. Harry was more than happy to spew all of this vitriol while the Queen was still living. I don't think any member of the royal family could ever trust him again. King Charles really needs to look at the bigger picture here, and it's important that he ban Harry and Meghan especially from any and all royal public events. I'm sure they're going to show up with a Netflix camera crew in tow, and you know they're going to be wearing some hidden microphones too. The Jubilee proved that. They tried to take photos of the kids with the Queen, and they had hidden microphones visible under their clothing. They weren't even very sneaky. Now, Harry wrote a few things in his book which might ring true. One thing that he wrote is that his father is deeply religious, and I do believe that. Now, the king has to be aware of Jesus' parable of the prodigal son in St. Luke's Gospel. I'm sure he knows it pretty well, in fact. And he could talk about that with the Archbishop before Justin Welby embarks on his diplomatic mission to Harry. Now, if you're not familiar with the parable, the prodigal son is about a younger son who requests his share of his estate from his father, and then he leaves. He travels to a distant country where he ends up spending all of the money in riotous living, and then eventually he ends up yearning for the food that he gives the pigs he's responsible for taking care of. Now, while the story is not exactly the same as Harry's story, there are parallels. So the prodigal son ends up going back home and he wants to seek his father's forgiveness. And as it was written in the King James Bible, when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. Now Charles is a very loving father and we know that he wants nothing more than to just give his younger son a big hug. But unless the rogue prince recognizes the error of his ways, Charles, in his role as king, definitely shouldn't forgive him. Even if Harry promises to stop the attacks on the royal family, it's not only that he can't ever be trusted again, but Meghan supposedly is working on her memoir about her relatively short time as a working royal, and we know she wouldn't feel obligated to be a part of Harry's promise. I cannot believe that horrible woman is writing a book now. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I kind of believe the rumors. And we're going to have to put up with all of her whining next. I just do not understand how they can abandon the country, how they can abandon the whole family, and they can still happily refer to themselves as Duke and Duchess. Harry was born a prince, but she should go back to being plain old Meghan Markle if you ask me. So Harry and the wife, Meghan Markle. King Charles needs to act like a king and sovereign. It's important that he not act like a father in this situation. Harry has not only thrown grenade after grenade, he has really damaged his family. So any guarantee from Harry about no future attacks really wouldn't be worth the paper it's written on. It seems like Charles does not want to understand, or maybe he can't understand, that Harry and Meghan really are trying to destroy everything that the UK holds dear. Harry has shown such contempt towards the royal family and the people of the UK too. Now, the late Queen is going to be a very tough act to follow. She never did anything wrong in her amazing 70-year reign. If the king allows Harry to attend the coronation, he's going to end up looking very weak. I really hope that he can stop pandering to Harry, at least in public. I wish the king all the best. So please, king, stand up to your horrible younger son and prevent him from attending your coronation. The fact is, you have got to appear strong in public. And you, do you agree with the views in my video? If yes, please like and share it with your friends and family members who would enjoy it. If not, tell me why, and we can also discuss your thoughts and feelings. And don't forget to subscribe to Kate Middleton and the Queen News YouTube channel to not miss out on any new videos in the future. Again, thank you so much for watching, goodbye, and we'll be back to see you all tonight.